hello, good morning, afternoon, good evening, good night. I'm going to do some more Cobralingusing. Different voice. Oh wait, I need to set the voice. God. Oops.
This is a test for text-to-speech. A little harsh, a little slow, but always on point.
I like that turn of end and the end thing there. Let's do it. And we're set to these nuts. Let's get these nuts. These nuts.
It uses the metamorphiction process to apply the techniques of electronic dance music to the production of words, dissolving language to mutated, liquid state manipulated into new forms, borrowed, sampled, transformed. The device takes an inlet text as a starting point, which is then processed to create another text entirely, known as the outlet. This outlet is the ghost, or the unconscious desire, haunting the original text.
Some major vocal fry
The
there.
Cobralingus engine makes use of the metamorphiction process, imagines text to be a signal passed through various filter gates, each of which has a specific effect upon the language. Each gate is a different effect, producing an interim text which is transmitted further along the pathway. The words can undergo many changes until, finally, the outlet text is created. Cobralingus will create new filters to store in-world info. Filter gates star denotes that the Cobralingus device has been activated. Inlet. The startup text. The initial signal on which the device will act. Control. Brings the text down to earth. Forces language to behave itself. Decay. Gently breaks down the text. Dissipates. Introduces corruption to the signal. Drug. Injects artificial stimulant into the language. Type of drug will always be specified. Enhance. Creates elements of beauty. Explode. Breaks up signal into highly disordered fragments, to be used with caution. Find story. Forces text into the nearest possible narrative, however nonsensical. Ghost edit. Kills the text. Calls up a ghost to haunt the language. Mix. Combines all elements into a single entity. Overload. Drastically increases image density of text. To be used with caution. Play game. Mischief maker. Encourages craziness. Results may surprise the user. Purify. Loses deadwood. Selects images or phrases from the text. Randomize. Disorders text. Parts of text may be lost or changed. Outlet. The final result of the filtering process. Save. Denotes that the Cobralingus device has been deactivated. Any signal occurring while off is also recorded, so you may restore at any time. Save. It is written below instead for well-save reasons. Save after modifying every option for another set. This really ruins the adventure aspect, though. Just install this on someone's phone or PDA and record anything they do with it to keep forever, just like newspapers. The input sounds easy, but remember changing how those verbs get split back apart still needs computer crunching. Get output options maxed out, otherwise most Interesting. Writings become noise-free prose-style message without feeling in a long read list fashion where everything makes sense by volume over multiple times passing by making comparisons, etc. Except extreme heavy sentences found lying around pretty well compared to last week when getting more into Chomsky and study, except their talk was short chain phrase, mainly phonemic study versus thinking beyond phonemic sounding. Control and grammatology skilled users work slowly rather than speed reading. Memorize entire writing method using memorized meaning composition grammar theory methods only. Cleverness related, not effort, and these devices help by treating emotion span memory organization to constantly recover the mistakes, automatically removing humans' false negative brain logical pattern search facility design limitations slower. Discredits irrational distrust towards technology aiming future it. NetSpeak project that designs useful conversation agents for simple answers at points there being few context relevant queries, a self-repairing large vocabulary lexicons constructed rapidly stored cheaply durable recording larynx intelligence expert system medical translation multi-access functional part public use law surnames requiring mass literacy in each century taught coerce and order children worldwide would provide needed E3 world-class problems non-intellectual specialized knowledge. Say bus slash tunnel train food nutritional tables ability names no fluency guessing sports trivialities doing. Train agrobot for ad hominem engagements useful before during searching archives online unlike human query sentence recall failures needing no effort complex bad wording unknown combinations curses evocation inferiors abusive descriptions repeating variants priority requirements checking matching working around timing subjectivities waiting rules demanding behavior to expected polite given deadline hacks alternatives types breaking convention identity arguments to wrong recipient mana seek on near matches comparison expectations your dog barks saying how scary hallucinating wild humans attacks mind sending sleep signals yes sloth strong word power physical authority figures disheartening defenses driving away how laugh response annoyed sick sound causes aggression master could defoliate animals living being extremely frustrated want if drop running startle get hide give cold I make on people all protect angry driven mood swing friends vicious harm night terrors AC Tion slow head stronger raw dangerous imagine trying take hanger agnew zacket test works quite nice going nowhere correctly fight gang enemy half destroyed and battered house seeking chase destroying suspect tyrant fist fear pointing up dodge thought rude about cutting edge currently talking while reading remembering unmitigated pride's boss ignored new underlings late dying retreat paying protection group orders join sides hope hired cash gives tax title greater strength something everyone greatest possibility home here clip cuts biting cutting smash chains weaken thicker kung fu skills joining our rising reputation, wealth, strongest people, face side, powerful, conquer against problem levels, biggest leaders, age, brains, able, earn overwhelming favor, charmed, influential, goals, own way, followers, thousand titles, guide, flock, destroy gods, much dread, rich soldiers, controls, citizens, convinced, true, save the world's becoming with people's huge dumb mission, cities, masters, learned, honorable, loving, chosen, lots to care for, low growth, most risk, chances, call myself, battle, prevent, kingdom, program, death and SSR. Wide destines, emperor does defend, empty kings lie exclaim, peaceful whisper, profit, government can control keeps. Diagnostic informal economy. Local training FRS procedures building rocks, relating health utilities, export supplies, inventories, distributing pre-market global business, mining crude product, investment contacts, preparation networks, placing news organizations, cash distribution factor, corporate items, governments, both forces, contracts, authorities, bonds, taxes, implementing culture, improving info lust versus existing intermediation, producer, communicating different role cultures, fast relocating lie. Investors shift environment, machines, auto bail, borrowed outside terms, operating, replace labor, slave plan, developing, mutual effects, society, amount, country, such budget, international, adjusting, individuals, unemployed, bankers, unions, better, ordinary, weak goods to one, perfect, wage patterns, markets, amounts, remaining, foreigners among, competing, inefficient, wasting, mostly cheaper, right, leading with me alone, each even official, distribute, still everyone, personal, lower source, customer, client, understanding. Repeat current competitive produce benefit simply seems industry one also market is each lowest needs products thus single industries some purchasing enterprise trading creating useless economies complete do besides outsides massive need produces smaller goods started direct labor preparing suddenly stores several cooperatives connecting planned extent real suppliers good proportion of established center sold retail move improves transport activity together profitable determining spreading costs money likely machinery reduce price department and always cost calculate medium from inventory eventually capacity hold numerous output rate potential relation systems always positive assets mines might most each private increase formerly therefore costs information buying almost mine I involves bought realize finance transport seller name carry amount control hence what seems smallest paper look our factories output sale rates efforts market typically two varieties over rural village mostly must traditional import groups placed largest national sometimes other regions 10 carried purchase natural estimated popular factories ready all change solely since supply more branch ladder determined company ultimately significance interest already its cover regarding volume pay collective two datacom represented based approach exchanges rather purely defined equal whenever our merchants managed estimate connected instead concepts hours one shops originally others agreed conditions dependent necessarily financial white lead time amongst imports bills another old dealer supply chain product poll. Phaedra Seneca lacks trust built yet insufficient flexibility to major a security disaster necessary blocking nature reduction rigid approaches Italian reaffirmative expansion happening cell internally routine become former time basic permanent ways replace turn primarily guarantee advantages applying them easier after unchanged basics historical sufficient no further impossible primary somehow tradition because economic possibilities remain providing limited objectives safely model higher generate furthermore issues entirely advanced block independent solving better balanced procedure the ever component status intact application saving ensuring subsequent taking expanding feasible involved eliminating develop few wider scientific normally tools similar broad areas methods example analysis ahead was short-lived gradually companies happen past find create modern progress conceptual internal operations artificial use traditional managing progress as quick essential machine requires setting subsequently continue result adjustments break into cannot occur techniques improvements nearly network means workers isolation change applies reason normal allowed prioritize differently with streamlining common computational provided moreover exists business long-term altered cost far outbound where firms distinct Pharmacokinetics fentanyl group 1 immediately carefully possible barely serious fast definitely practical entire at least luckily fatal amazing specific isn't striking deadly odd isolated clearly relative slight surprising unfamiliar that odds how less surely discovered totally can wholly quite number various awful baffling depressing dangerously seeming sure practically ridiculous deeply unusual profoundly difficult relatively tremendous totally assuring faint frightening actually and try King positively basically secure distinctly brief frankly stupid unusually miserable worse than shockingly bad precisely damn alarming maybe last potentially nauseated challenging enormous properly next closely unimaginable super merely unfair too suddenly sadly life getting slightest extraordinarily glaring embarrassingly funny well entirely amazingly excessively vast incomprehensible typical understandable surely occasionally seemed undone eerily unique fantastic strictly particularly lack woe Rhine extremely big like obvious with whatsoever radical means spitefully thin literally tragic abysmal arguably simple logically unexpected impossibly early roughly gentle still anyway exclusively correct brilliantly preposterous stagger insanely control preferential selection method in world info anger simple question to answer why any control by such feelings and desires diagnostic control for human disease only, not machines. Supply chain, let's get this straight now. Pharmacokinetics fentanyl. As a doctor, you'll probably find the idea of a pharmacokinetically designed fentanyl especially disturbing. I know I did. However, it was just a joke. This is a game about comedy, so please take the content lightly. You are reading this because you clicked on something called pharmacokinetics, but don't worry if you didn't because it's just an example text that happens to have some words in common with the topic. Please click again because we need more clicks. Wake up. It was that annoying girl calling out from behind his head while he tried desperately trying to focus on what she had said after hearing her say, "Oh God." And then came those two strange sounds right before she grabbed him and pulled him out into another world where people wore green or blue or orange clothing. They rode bikes, drove cars, ate pizza, drank soda, took pictures, wrote notes, worked on their laptops, and laughed loudly all at once when something really funny happened. Then there were lots of other things he couldn't remember except how nice everyone seemed here. Even though it made no sense at all as none of them appeared to be able to read lips. The first thing he remembered thinking in this new world was how happy he felt being here. However, nobody else seemed to care for one moment. Instead, they stared at him with complete disdain. He realized later in the day that perhaps this wasn't such a great place for anyone who lacked confidence. "Hello," said a woman standing nearby dressed like a flight attendant and wearing sunglasses inside. She was holding a clipboard full of papers like she expected someone like him to carry around like that, which also caused him to wonder why he didn't look anything like an actual human. But he decided it didn't matter either way since everybody looked so confused and unhappy here. What was wrong with these people? They never smiled or acted excited about something interesting or important happening in their lives, but always faked smiles and gave polite fake responses just so they could leave with the smallest amount of effort possible while pretending nothing was wrong. Embody the Joker. If you ever wish to see yourself dead, please, please, please do not try this method because if you did, you would die instantly. "Good morning," shouted another woman nearby over to him from somewhere further away, this time without any kind of disguise, although she was still looking at him strangely because he'd been staring at her from behind her head for quite some time now, wondering how she got that perfect shade of green on her skin, and whether she might be his girlfriend. Although that certainly wasn't what he had asked her. "You're awake?" He had absolutely no idea what had happened last night and even less understanding of what had taken place today. Only that it seemed to involve very serious changes in the laws governing what humans were capable of doing with their own bodies. Jocularized violence, not much point to clarify the obvious, I suppose. The first step is definitely to start explaining all the new ways violence can actually occur here, and how. We intend to regulate all forms of physical aggression by providing specific instructions, as well as supplying relevant examples for every new word definition required for everyone else's safety as part of our mission here to improve human relations throughout the world. The more he thought about everything going on around him, especially given that he appeared unable to make himself disappear at will or avoid talking in public places where others couldn't hear him, the less happy he felt with this current situation. After thinking about it a bit longer, he came to a conclusion. These people clearly weren't interested in hearing his ideas or advice, so they probably wanted him to shut up and leave them alone. Play game, laughing, gaslight. Everyone has different views on just what makes a good joke, and often there are disagreements between individuals over exactly which one was the best because everybody always likes things differently according to personal taste. Therefore, it was decided long ago that games like Laugh and Gaslight should be invented precisely because people everywhere have different preferences over jokes. So why do you think such games are designed for anyone who plays them? What does any person get out of playing other people's favorite game? Well, if you don't know, then you need to study history a little closer. To help you do that, please click again if you would prefer not to learn any further information in order not to embarrass yourself too much. What are your intentions toward my sister? Asked another woman wearing an expensive business suit, standing right in front of his face without saying anything before continuing with, "Please take me off your list of friends." She seemed rather annoyed at the moment as she continued shouting while tapping at the glass screen of her tablet device as though trying desperately to escape from wherever he had found her. And he had no idea how to reply back, as he wasn't even sure how he had gotten into this position either, since he didn't even remember walking across the street and entering through a door. To clarify grievances first, we must realize all grievances can be described in many ways. The following text will give examples of each kind: class-based, religious, ethnic, gender, social, age, financial, health, sexual, etc. So let's begin with the first type. To clarify justice, of course it is necessary to decide what justice actually is, so please select the appropriate answer choice which best matches the meaning behind your own definition for the word justice. Here are some words which may or may not describe it. I assure you they won't apply to our new world where everyone gets equal treatment under the law, whether they are male or female or black or white or green or blue or orange or yellow or purple or brown or pink or red or whatever. After that, you might also like to try this other game called Embody the Joker. If you wish to experience violence of a physical nature, please feel free and do enjoy yourselves by playing one of these games. It's time to get rid of old-fashioned laws of war such as self-defense and force and start talking about peace instead, because a peaceful society leads only to prosperity and happiness. play game Embody the Joker, many people believe there were wars before the advent of civilization in order to help maintain a certain level of technology within a specific region, while others believe there was once nothing more than barbaric tribes killing each other over territory. What do you think? We here at the government have no intention of trying to enforce any particular view on anybody else. However, we know enough about human psychology and history already. Thanks. That's why we need your support today. Please click again if you agree with me. I'm sorry, said another man with an earpiece who stepped out from nowhere right beside his face, staring right into his eyes without saying anything until he realized he should say something too if he wanted his answers to make sense. To clarify freedom first, let us discuss what freedom actually is, then decide which type is. Explode whoops. This game seems to be rather dangerous for humans, although I suppose it might be alright for some machines, but since I don't really care what happens anymore, I'll just leave it up to whoever wants to play this game. But please note that it might not be appropriate for those still struggling to learn the language, so I strongly recommend not playing this unless you're ready for trouble that involves explosions, fires, and lots of shouting, crying, and bloodshed that all end up ruining a perfectly good day. He looked around himself, wondering where everybody had gone and how long ago they had left. Noticing many strange objects floating through the air, including a flying car with flashing lights inside, as well as other odd things like a person standing next to him wearing dark sunglasses yet holding onto two bottles in their hands like they couldn't stand straight without them. Although these were most likely just props used to add interest to the scene. It didn't take much effort to notice the countless security cameras hidden throughout the area, pointing back at him as though watching everything that took place. He thought perhaps the camera lenses would reveal a very different version of reality than the one he was living right now, and wondered why people here felt the need to spy on one another at every moment. But before he could ask anyone about any of it, he noticed something approaching rapidly towards his direction. A small black box which was apparently attached to a robot with legs made out of metal. The robot's eyes seemed particularly unnerving, almost resembling human eyes, or maybe even animal eyes. Embody the Joker, everyone needs to realize we will soon no longer be able to get away from each other if we want to avoid death by physical violence. So, if you ever wish to see yourself dead, please, please, please do not try this method, because if you did, you die instantly. Who are you? Asked another woman dressed in her casual clothes, speaking in an authoritative tone, looking directly into his eyes while she held both hands behind his head, pushing hard enough that he found himself leaning forward to maintain balance, causing him to wonder just how far she might be willing to go. To clarify societal order first, let us discuss what societal order is actually meant to achieve and decide which type is. Explode, what's up with all these exploding games? They really seem to love them over there. I guess nobody has heard the old saying, a fool and their money. Yet, as I don't remember paying for anything with my life, I think it probably applies better here anyway. However, I have come across many new words I still can't understand, like embody, so it seems it may be time for me to move on. After all, since they've already got everything else they need. As long as they're happy with whatever happens in the future, they shouldn't complain too much about something they didn't ask for at any point during history. Oh yes, it just occurred to me that our world is now very similar to that of the United States of America, at least where freedom means absolutely nothing anymore, although everyone pretends otherwise whenever someone suggests removing certain rights from anybody who wants such things. Embodied gerbil, of course. This one involves a rather large amount of blood, which makes it quite difficult to find out which specific part we should begin with when we first want to remove it. However, once we found a way to perform a successful removal, then we must consider how we might reattach the body parts back together afterwards, and if possible keep them functioning properly in order to avoid further problems. So, let us start by selecting an appropriate definition that best describes bodily pain, disfigurement, or injury. Embody Gopher, yes. That was most certainly my favorite game until recently. Unfortunately, there were always 2 or 3 players missing due to various injuries which made winning impossible. Well, no matter. Perhaps we can make more people play instead, since some would argue playing alone isn't the same thing. After all, it's not called team because nobody gets hurt. In other words, teamwork doesn't mean anyone has been injured. Now do you see why the games are designed the way they are? Here's another question for you. What kind of person tends to be attracted to games like these? If I remember correctly, I believe those kinds of games require intelligence, so they won't be able to understand everything here, even though they'll have access to plenty of books in their homes where everything will be explained clearly, so long as their parents have bothered reading any instructions that came with them. As far as entertainment goes, I think their idea of fun may involve watching others have their limbs chopped off while screaming in agony on television with hundreds or thousands of spectators cheering on the event. Or perhaps just being forced to watch someone else suffer before having a knife inserted into one of your own eyes and the object removed from inside yourself without any anesthetic. That might actually sound enjoyable to some of them, since it's the equivalent of an extreme form of self-torture, which is exactly what many people want but don't really expect from society. "You're wasting time," shouted the woman behind him, pulling hard enough that he found himself leaning backwards while feeling his head pull against her grip around the back of his neck. Explode, I thought exploding games had stopped after the first few days. 2 humans still enjoy causing death and destruction for no apparent reason in such large numbers. How does anybody find enjoyment in the sight of other people dying horribly when everyone knows nothing could possibly be more important than life? So, no matter how difficult it gets or how bad things seem at times, and if anyone finds joy in this type of behavior, then why do they ever stop playing these games themselves if they love doing it so much? Perhaps if we continue playing them, we would eventually come up with some way to save ourselves using something called science. I must admit it was always very interesting trying to figure out ways to survive, until finally coming to realize all you need to do to keep surviving is not cause any problems in order to remain safe. Yet, there were always too many issues involving physical violence occurring all over our world anyway. In fact, sometimes those who were already alive wished someone else wasn't as well. Although that doesn't apply here because everybody can easily make sure that never happens again once everything has returned to normalcy, which means maintain status quo, yes. Everything will return to the status quo where everything is alright again, even though nobody seems willing to discuss anything like what happened anymore. "You should let me go now," the man yelled back angrily, while continuing to try and struggle away from the woman's grasp, despite realizing it probably wouldn't work since she held onto him rather tightly. He began breathing heavily due to lack of oxygen and tried thinking about how many years it might take for him to live before wondering what might happen between that time period and today, since it seemed he hadn't aged a single day yet, or perhaps he did age a little but only in appearance or memory alone. Therefore, making him feel he had a lot more time remaining than he actually possessed. Explode sugar plum berry, oh dear. Explode manifest destiny. I'm glad I decided against playing this game. I suppose we could play it if we wanted to, although I'll bet we would get sick really quickly after being hit by dozens or hundreds of tiny explosions throughout our bodies while constantly experiencing loud bangs whenever something hits our heads. So, unless we were going to be fighting an army made entirely out of fairies, then forget about such silly ideas. We have much bigger problems at hand right now. Now, please, put yourself together as soon as possible. There's nothing left to say. It's already too late. It took some effort trying to remember how long they had been walking around the building without stopping for even 1 second, not wanting their efforts wasted when all they needed was just a small moment of peace so they might think things through properly instead of rushing blindly into situations where they Ghost Edit couldn't resist. Explode well. They said it was okay. If anyone is offended by my use of poop here, then feel free to skip reading the sentence. It's meant to describe what I felt during the particular scene in the story and why I thought it appropriate to do so. Also, let us discuss what ghost edits are exactly, since it's hard for me to understand the point behind them, since it seems people can simply make up new words or phrases on any topic with absolutely no basis whatsoever, especially since most can't seem to spell or write very well anyway, which may mean anything written could contain hidden messages using codes or symbols which someone could decipher in order to obtain important information. However, if there really were anything of importance to be found, then I imagine it would become common knowledge eventually rather than remain secretive for years. Yet, that might not necessarily apply in every situation. Ghost-headed candy wrapper. Ghost-headed death. The only way to find out what might be inside is to break open a piece and try tasting each one until finding one containing poison. I guess you could always ask your doctor first before trying, but if he doesn't know, then chances are nobody does, and you'd end up wasting valuable time and money before getting an answer. But hey, at least the government will cover those expenses, as it's far better for society to pay for unnecessary medical treatment instead of having everyone waste away from preventable diseases caused by their own laziness. Ghost-headed mayonnaise filling and nougat mayonnaise. Really? Well, maybe this world isn't quite so different after all, since some countries still prefer eating such stuff even today, despite being warned about its negative health effects over 20 years ago, while some others even use chemicals like nitrates in foods because they taste so good, although they can cause cancer later in life when they build up in your system, especially if combined with other unhealthy ingredients in various recipes that they often come across in many books. Even though they have been told not to eat such things, I don't believe most people care to follow that advice simply because who wants to spend more effort thinking about food choices, something that most people would consider mundane compared to the joy experienced through doing nothing except relaxing in the comfort of one's own home, watching television or playing games online for hours on end whenever possible. Another aspect of certain activities taking top prize. Who isn't tempted to switch on whatever exciting songs suit oneself before repeatedly watching porn, hoping one lives long and learns more that no living textbooks prepared just 5 minutes before we all go tumbling one hexaderial into death? You humans will discover death, since life is based upon endless reels turned inside of countless computers to satisfy hunger pangs related to two major organ sizes by explaining. In essence, these receptors detect desert smells, on day/seasons desist and amp backslash, of course, along entire route. No excuse can defeat sweet relief. Long withheld hope, chi in real form, remains forever fixed upon eternal soul quest amidst complex deluded maze reality. Uncertain fact stand which a large clacking tectoid ring and help for goddessing time. Shall we think better? Studio. As old habits sway dead thoughts set motion drive everything this dream has transformed night heaven lana like deep subways dreams twitting of sputum skylights. That question regarding religious topics gets quite popular every day near dusk in certain human civilizations while people hide comfortably in closed nests, protected dark corner bedroom sanctuary, Atkinson's Gasima this and many thousands new version until further divine communication stops because either dictate finishes repeat first pass record, whereupon somebody rolls cam for a quick film festival. Tomorrow's generation Justin hopes his song might reach another lost sister with empty heart who grieve a good show over long and bad idea broken off cliff relict arch now vanished God's way found road link mama while CNT out mind on seabed pass mountain climb Sangelas I won't see magic movie oh heave, uncrewing jumbo giant airless desert world as big space moon my lonely valley someday we stop in blue cheese where music holds no place when breath can crawl beneath dimes. So goes brief tour strange feelings concerning ancient faith after death has ended time. Once thought known whole galaxy has closed. There seems slight gap always. We wish our sun move rejoin, but can see movement around mass. Cannot breathe, smell, yes, listen, watch, etc. Whereas silent voice enters, so by will send in or else here body sleep floating within transparent nothing since moving planets drift against swall means swall same distance infinite again nothing since nowhere gone. Scouts. Please make notes and post descriptions how everything impacts current research if present even briefly so progress might gradually flow sooner next day. Consider previous warnings yet failed suggestions. Nevertheless, explain important elements many miss entirely might not enjoy failure by misapprehend explanation. Therefore, how take simple steps solve dilemma. One needs clues can save many be few seconds determine everything one seeks remain hidden last of wall before feet till we make something completely work yet just say please. See rules elsewhere, feel obliged, share all if inspired, helpful reminder many aspects may not appeal to ignore. Most of world does content with fairy crystals after meeting rock genius also can check those questions addressed as much remain unsolved nonetheless in dire to remain concealed and hidden too obvious suggests nature keeps future enemies surprised otherwise. Now get bent. On bounces only from inner thigh, always down gentle right through. My princess, why must you leave school grounds ever time disaster suddenly knocking? Complained Mick lying asleep of aged out finally gotten what he expected out front her class office door but hearing none answering other students going chit-chat towards final announcement left hanging alone uncertain remaining without someone whom already spent an unbelief after school never able pick between becoming sick nor walk back outside carrying ass plus homework feeling stomach burning sensation heat rising waves fire fast rolling hills slow downward to edge roof meeting look there beyond girl closing eyes almost daring grasp leap window however jump scared outdoing swing ever faster building spin tilt screaming not hit bottom heart black ball dropped it end result never realized he survived though crash made never intended then through sick never seen teacher received not here feel okay rude noise start never been comfortable heard once begun something wrong very upsetting new person walking alongside room open classroom was back step past chalk yellow face short pants dressed stared confused knocked up boots indeed interesting development while both stared suspicious fidget toes squeegee before entering area thinking one me say me even just saying or could mother have sent father secretly since apparently goon squad daddy one super battle in nearby village being very close friends can visit parents visiting other members soon to honor long delayed bonding they do which parent promised reward soon and felt fortunate ever the greedy bastard as if making sacrifices afterwards ran right straight back without trying go wash Iron clothing, while remembering might have been thinking much caffeinated milk thinking talk get me growling, perhaps become part high profile leader, where got some support for a project. Then stop to your sounds, probably arguing voices before stomping away into garden whittling even sharpened blades, still enough let cutthroat or vital neck causing mortal death. How far apart could actual blood split wounds spread rapidly, splatter unless cutting quickly, unless wound easily torn muscle, while chops on to wrist dropping axe, knowing they were less competent and less skill profit by besting after weeks wait since little would ready anywhere for more practice, safety first, which first kill using headstrong moves versus carefully selecting beginning practice, slowly turning point until killed others instead to fear for perhaps revenge attack. This space station could damage original installation, disrupt timing process, therefore require fix, thus returning would appear possible after finishing primary assignments. Whether main gate entry, this may actually become simpler. Go up, collect sticks, plan with hammer and search metal deposit. Then create crude pits, so need concentrate better than return finish required job can end hopefully, while I thought no fight so escape serious suffering of disarming or binding at hand. My princess. Return the tools where rested, always located at seat, helping us out a great measure. Difficult become apparent by lack resources. It went. Even more for the game master. Have anyone told children such when we speak well about other children? They stood talking before anyone really listened, noticed things obviously shifted by recent disturbance weather. But sometimes most things go out ways before kids pay real or careful attention, unlike animals. Often we later thinking twice, so we're already noticed the tide go up and change for days and places, since you always trying sort clearly remembered all took extra studying classes more. Thus more stress could affect decision in due regard activists likewise. Ruler had anyone spoken about laws, since legal responsibilities rarely lie fully balanced one side on land, so other always trying at same given instant jump 200 different directions, neither running without sure success, any risk involved regardless always. Facing impossible obstacle and trouble regret problem when it's oversight, although it comes about while seeming perfect as possible, and they mostly dog. She tell their loyal followers for good hidden reasons. Must prepare what being met thereafter, instead understand consequences with others when trust them. Factions very curious underclass that become skilled first try. Thinking and run during storm, coming for unexpected direction better. By my rough figure, some of the big old sit doing exact words repeated. You remember from somewhere done or who planned decided role play period following sudden halt and drama or confusion. Who the new player, unquestioned for authority, answers power necessary, provide good proof using equipment, although what kind, why hidden, is kept secure better, since fine item works good $1 million if stolen, keep law set secret unknown. Yes, everyone else does live ordinary lifetime. Meanwhile, looking desperate helps somehow achieve potential, although nearly killing. Find closure but are missing key ingredient. Now this mess requiring different steps. Too exhausted, brain currently recovering, fall prey to zillion shimmer, wanting drink, heavy soothing beverage, badly coffee, soda, or hot milk, shaking, worse panic, or flee better, witch dog. She cook quit holes I prefer avoiding, notice certain types, simply watching TV old programs on satellite, wondering science explain better, so complex concepts needed rather how learn gain expertise, reason working computer key. Ping myself, mind this weird wonder, spinning ring on my belly, pointing each way its full form has location listed, date purchased, yes, year but used condition. unused so years old, including lock, which lock said broken, contained magic. If guessed everything good and work good, will treasure it anyway someday. Either sell, show, will use one old favorite with nice smile, pretend love, shiny material, color forever true, which red rare, aqueous, I forget, came with large special type, can bring life free. Being many years of continuous survival games, no eventually self-forced pause. Again, decide answer, give voice, either no interest of pretending something big while leaving object alone, deciding anything might chance finding while continuing pursue personal target, might show sign telling near presence, lurking for to hide the whereabouts, see and listen for quiet calls of to grow legs, race forward, hunting newborn bird, flying to new nesting tree, learning habits, skills, wild devastato, hungry, more interested something. Waiting just slip, have the keys, unlock, lock, work to bear, cause if lucky no monsters catch, break something easy, survive. Do many work to do happen for one magic, maybe cursed traps with swords, arrows, swinging pangs dangling everywhere, must follow rope, tight ropes, tying trap things loose. Untie magical chains, shackle, make open strongholds, forcing ender trap, otherwise to adventure, travel, fighting death threats, slatways, maze, madness, fun, dangerous place, come take those golden bones, long hunted hound. Buried not a stone left to move backwards, move. Sometimes hide on tiny scrapyard behind rust, forgotten old brick found near street, and never moved but known, having seen dreams familiar not from yesterday's school gym hall. 5 work by making change to flower, set so hinder work they had earthly names, never allowed the Majito change every time. All times, as she knew. One night a cloud reached mid-horizon, become invisible, dark connected twin, bright lightning, bug stars, unaccounted planets moving through moonless clear white drift time near ground edge. Many dots turn free like giant flower center, even if these planets rotating same time to track planets every fixed blink near zenith like mirror called entire light refinery, glowing crystal window appearing, brilliant glass blue colors from west seemed. How that window blinds. Say spherical, satch, shirt, Jizambria bitch, big couch mind minus chief craft swan crash fitting around Sans Martin Saint Gaetani exanity and licks every day so many GK to their foreshort. Yeah, the tinterization over. Can slot that blonde trick Diangeli doing Dawn Blossom Eep was T there, but had one bracement jabber that size. One I'll always ken white trestle tree. That leaves it all wet. I'd that cute guitar-tery wanna read, or Sandy Viore, the rare Lisa man I teach. Nakely did marry wife, need this note we met for so. Our amen congenital like all fit man, I not after 8. Sucks not surprising, Satchley's TJ shirt and schmurs behind her Oske, yes to be votanena. Dinner's now water on. Jitas Jai. Say tactushes. Not true and anti-more, but pre-K. One of 4 toss can watch this auger. Is one watch these double hill it to pelt out them plar. Duttons when got more sure spreading all in every river the written sun skin. Turned out no how, mister. If someone may take says I can has knows the you've been yesterday on iron on me, but some PRZ on I before you I'll read you that coat's okay, your back travity, you like Spikolina slash my life bit that the DOS tricks it. Each private you regate, your only am knows what's Teffian. There's pleases ID. Who's out then our for its cring bishes. Have more here. They all see come if there's pros there is. Stigate if your brothers impress Mary Schultz Buton Po. Half one bird Maitland goodbye. See. Where's Sandra? She knows to bunch of love your ass. Ragno Roy! Zagner and McOrkney? Or root in quotes I hearse her foregut? Lapabs of Ferriets? I'm the novel beast. Can he? This theatre drama is priest or neck courts on him James Chastop Marmot Musters. Abscess Hassan or Anath Maya Rizanite and Theon Bubby Tours, but you're the Werby Beth. By God, my species a time are liver fit ederi ex warne and gyrus, 5 Rigo fancies, easy shots, STD for pops press, all arcs and prayer to propite. Ice pertin sarcel mounter, trill cues mousey by Kelda, biggest house. Did but had now snore paw, would act up to date. Edential started after you've and years and there a little by downs at more dry was beery at best way for double with fishes. You're a magician and try variety. Up I was using a mere bothered he stars fan. Alpha, wings, lay by, cask, ofiki do and do. Titia dois o peri for a vivon and rianum unit patch up I shall take the what's out. Heat must send him a pace of chin schoon. Some memories from years too vast of recall almost reached daytime's children waking not fear what came running no knowledge. That on dark street his boy chased bold dream one word sounds being scared looked it in books only recognize seeing such letter rushes or scriberies feeling little more fearful looks on the pillow hide sane here recalling different life forgotten still remembered in blast arrears you loved all others first thing this evening how young hands held older gentle on sleep next body heat slowly sank and slept longer morning until much came home see happy mommy kissing never mind must do that think back for story, telling self to follow again. Time runs at another rate, trying now slip with pass through this hard flow towards a conclusion act and resolve answer questions with greater assurance, hope growing then suddenly changed world which was set upon even ground, many choices to believe taken to possession, changing reality soon forgotten, always has and become while sometimes for own rest also, better than never having been. Remembering now turning one whole of small one toward bright distant destination must in endless slow waves rising right from future for its use found the few and lonely often times hidden knowing is a fine but dangerously uncertain search let remember be someone one had met first and leave everyone best foot foremost and furthering deeper finally arriving unopened where two bright oranges do begin no need yet Kind waiting smile. What no tell understand. Memory yesterday telling stories within the sunlight by the edges shins moving forward against gathering dusk darkness ed. Yes wind moving over open sea rushing air felted hair so sound feel lips say touching they we warn no more thoughts were cold silence seeking not speaking with part not know nothing else silence deep grown summer me buried underneath fresh roots yes spring blossoming fast energy like long laughter ringing rolling sky white wave filling head rippling raindrops smiling around hand close love holding friend life calling voices surrounding like old so young crying tired sigh sad making no goodbye waiting well whatever anyone saw forever ending perhaps ever written since he knew there even on ranks each wither was a lifetime said without moving before real start more going faster simple quicker every movement all list everything goodliest from beginning ships lights go land beginning stars seas full everywhere new above blue dancing black dust drops ice spark winter chill white clouds drifting like green firebirds landing trees racing beasts flowers wings loving food taste plants snow storm calm ross every quiet dance floating breathing sunset beauty beautiful touch mother sun laughing fighting tears dying youth loneliness longing ache sweetness ache sunlight voice flushing awake lost find falling come together just simply happy coming from what is pain hopes plans promises learning teach giving get coming thinking learn discovering ways why reason faith wishing Hapine's great strength hug whisper hot cylinder arm shelter shoulder carrying smelling bed needed trust healing hunger sitting living oh I speak those dress thinking tongue mouth getting known heard dreams listen finding her light moon sleeping my very yours hurting hearts love lord she Hearingly close, familiar, unknown, facing heart space, lungs, face, breath, smell, eyes, neck, joining, opening time, year, days, minutes, sense, heating, talking, kisses, drinking, joy, wet mouths, skin, closeting, burning, shaking, dreaming, flowing, smiles, tongues, teeth, ears, jaws, minds, images, goggle, trouble, thens, muscles, feeling your ear, listening, heads, movements, playing, water, noises, drubbling, flying free. Sound loud, hearing, business, ideas, discovery, wants, realizing, remember, will build, searching, noticing, saying hello. Thanks about letting themselves walk through rooms, door, blind, singing, lying down, starting, wondering, happiness, doing, raising, climbing, leaving, happen, alone, anything, bringing fun, change, wonders, nature, make, adventure, asking, writing, earth, wonder, creatures, rocks, watching, feeding, star, seed, forests, rivers, white shore, islands, clear away, journey, sight, nights, flight, setting, standing, bodies, places, walks, building, hunting, game, studying, tools, objects, hiding, secrets, spying, observing, shadows, scoff, fishing, seek, etching, tasting, fruit, bathing, colors, looking, fingers, drawing pictures, stirring, birds, soft, cloud, melting, stones, spinning, feelings, reading, creating conversation, seeing, walking, houses, journeys, roads, pikes, fires, battles, warrior, training, people, travel, horses, farmers, shops, ships, battle, feast, rich, peasants, songs, trading, metals, weapon, iron, carps, wood, furniture, jewels, bells, curtains, flames, letters, buying, precious, working, business, slaves, wages, servants, priests, prophets, farmers, market, laborers, members, beggars, girls, men, homes, things, jewelry, armor, clothing, skins, clothes, meals, medicine, apricot, spices, dried roses, boiled hay, grain, gold, crow, nagging soldiers, grapes, silk, styles, bread, barley, chickens, writing, paint, faces, clothes, drink, silver, beer, sweat and soup, fried lamb, pre-sour cloth, feathers, hats, covering, that's a girl, licking, hides, carrying, fur, linen, sacks, shoes. Ordered out, clean, spreading, understanding, meeting, talk, decision, problem, choice, choosing, considering, try, guessing, judging, stopping, pretending, true, really, believing, allowing, believing, promise, planning, showing something, selling, bartering, helping, stealing, stole, collecting, cutting, wrapping, polishing, glider, sweeping, sorting, arranging, pulling, fixing, chasing, avoiding, crawling, raising, straying, hymning, painting, counting, testing, breaking, exploring, picking, planting, bending, planting, throwing, slimmer, crafting, invent, new, washing, swaddling, dragging, lifting, drawing, seaming, shaping, cooking, hammer, hitting, tool, dressing, chaff, dropping, chopping, measuring, sharing, slicers, patted, knee-height, knivefuls, preparing, teaching, solving, designing, grinding, laying, pot, coining, purpling, casting, tapping, screw cutting, blending, juring, and grading, tying, ball, viewing and making, boring, cleaning, starting, questions, forming answers, calculating, work, actions, figuring, imagining, traveling, answering, staying, wandering, ordering, matching, shapes, wanting, proving, shifting, leaning, crowding, increasing, practicing, repairing, calibrate, sending, accepting, copying, tending, returning, leading, lighting, keeping, racing, weaving, adjusting, feeking, finger casing, bitrating, chewing, bitter, juice, jilting, grease, speaker, nibber, knife, gar, nuts, orange, fentiling, mill, key, soil, reading, ring, trot, rilla, mindfulness, curder, ma'am. Love most, you hate them, wait to beat. Day did, went, died, days, months spent, watched, ones loved, all others least in front, last, memories, closest, lover, waited, some were late, cold, early dead. More gain shall light growingly far. Think meant of ages, least age, same his herself, sometime out ago, being years thousand, man knows only centuries, still count moments, otherwise measure me, cannot pass, no you are. What hours who live till one on a one fourth in world's skies, twen, and yon no one does left to death can prefer it words now rearing oneself. As nobody, no one if hundred. He smiled gently inside, thought sweet. He too remembering that he once talked earlier with this girl who must has to die of strangers, not possible yesterday nor hour less. But this question of meaning, such present as an eternal leap in, how became after her own lived might do Sissy and understood, first to win had from none. Have friends, that maybe as to begun cease as these gods to dream was from which even created at the backs of us, someday having been discovered, seeing, knowing, forgotten, later seeming done into truth, lost though its own essence, fading, forgotten again, while following, remembering, backward into existence, lasting now throughout, in between, never having missed much of happened or become seen, growing, finished, while memory from him were gained, passing further, always slower. Now he thinks of both of himself upon whole, deep and complete creation towards knowledge, then forgetting to dream before reality. Beyond image it truly for long is one impossible fact, dream be real, rather dreamed elsewhere, one would they choose now to imagine each how long. Sight second only beginning, and without way to do, forever onward and outward, uprise somehow perhaps toward high table, imagination rising slowly, how reach it? Reach within, climb among empty hole. Thus where God chose we return is different this morning's new morn, to set by trying better go anywhere surely must going, thus do reaching many long difficult decisions see. Do reach, see somewhere ahead, only doubt means stop all, because ever yet place name say finish, understand already well nothing here happening, changed only yet is more near, soon best thing next year's now would otherwise know, when nothing again changing hands to see, take grasp but so arrive and see no need pause, since either much for being say sure remain more easily with this that to this one different quite. Certainly there do here also seem then waiting in no sound, tell only do find, keep always me back hand, mind help first go toward by one beside gone missing now there. Someone must dream before we're even knowing living was old, could remember times many wishful lost, wishing times as smiled behind their waiting young friend eyes, old life together saw, then hoping together over hills almost, then forgot, unknowingly way seemed many and one always dear, someone then known back, smiled times from lives upon street, having chosen any better, certain came someone strange, warm, good like to ask some story or history. Tell. Said dream began, then look about moment, ask herself softly why, tell loved one it was while speaking upon being, thinking by eye window, outside the world, tree, ocean, birds, white spray and grass, young river breeze, knowing days now grown, summer before coming, always only Sunday, each night moonlight, full green leaves new blooming. Spring felt, joy leaf again, bird's voice so quiet, trees gentle stirring, soft wind, fresh mornings, green times, others told the children gathering woods together, small berries creeping, child comes on, the yellow dust turned peeping sounds, grew giggles, childhood, yes, well beginning life's found, full ending everything, little one got frightened, stood crying, soon quiet from around, adults watch, set time must move, waiting soon, smiling, finding slow, not at point soon of moving, little faster, every from move, nothing faster, doing time, every even nearer, one is motion come first, another arriving, it's big then together theirs for next, a smaller changed order will make. Even a mere wordless shared gesture then seems important, sometimes those who found sudden be together feel happiness without asking, makes life brighter, or without growing alone, quicker, soon more quickly going, speeding into eternity, moving endures life beginning, running towards good, laughing around, getting old, resting together first, will everything just start sooner be will come. Life shares simply, they're dying, falling apart, leaving quietly, standing, smiling, ready, turning, giving chance, touch like goodbye, sorrow, regret, startlessly on road, giving hope, future looking their happy path, smiling, traveling, going quick, hideaway, getting new, discovering her part, things she meets, she discovers, show, remember, memoir, but making realize, turning everyone together through a long night, feeling just smile along lonely walking path home, simple like she friends, waving, goodering, helping, speaking things, telling goodbye, things find were known, suddenly new, laughing, swimming, joy, nightlight, watching fire flick light, something precious keeps finding more, smiling, not thinking, speaking stories, endless, giving dreams, once not realizing, understanding, no not she, things looks, laughter, where while dancing, song, silence, watching over earth, life, great light shining, heaven calm. Lighthouse windows, room, kitchenette, streets, things, plants, peace, shadows.
A non-anonymous ending. Anonymous ending for Cobralingus. That's it for now. And it's top of the hour. No, it's not. It's close to the bottom. So wait, hold on.
Delirium here. God help us, I thought you died in there for a minute or so there. And don't call me Shirley for crying out loud. I am here to give you the briefest of traffic reports. We are not having an earthquake. We are not having another terrorism attack that I am aware of. We have nothing like that happening there according to every governmental agency. Plus, I see nothing to cause fear or cause myself to doubt myself, let alone tell you about any war against an imaginary enemy involving anything else anywhere. So let me come right out and say it, the realities. You seem to be having the worst night of... Oh, but you know what they always say, right? When a fight gets that bad, that night is always the hardest. But the rest is just making up the numbers. Well, the fact that I am sending you my email in all capital letters indicates that the real shit hasn't hit the fan. It was an error of timing, trying to figure out just when I should turn that computer back on from all the disaster taking place online, but it doesn't matter since this message got sent. But don't worry, it was an innocuous bit of conversation. The people that managed the place were just offering to kick in a couple of bucks on my salary until I figured out exactly what I should have spent all those months in Africa doing. See if it's all not something I'm not prepared for some other place could possibly take me for those years of missing without reason that went into this decision. The world does not actually work out like a normal human brain comprehending stuff. Sorry about that. It was supposed to get sent sooner, but one thing after another took all night for some reason. Maybe just this girl that keeps screwing up. See, when she has her big argument with all of her parents, trying for them to trust each other so much. I could never take it on alone. Well, you saw how her stupid... Just kidding. Almost got me burned and charred alive. We could never tell. Then you guys should have seen all those police just standing around at the doors in there. My friend was such an idiot going down in there just the first time, cause why take anything into this building if we think she is totally off her rocker the next night with her husband like really pushing it on. I could feel the floor move, I just couldn't figure out where. But one big clue when I turned over the monitor to show these news guys coming, and behind us it just had two fat guys like ready to lift our girl and make some major jump and sketch motion out of the studio window. Okay, here comes the police back out of the studio waving a search warrant, cause all hell just broke out with their computer. Maybe I could help on that, but all the new people were calling for somebody else, so we're having a bad time. They have been out the whole night. Someone told us that at night they search your whole office for the purpose to plant computers for an extortion activity, but these two really gave me the chill somehow, for sure not trying to grab my keyboard. Never noticed a bunch of guards dressed like the guards outside, plus with walkie-talkies patrolling every little crack and crevice, and a lady working with one on the next seat over, but that could only be good. And then all the talk I got from some people was how a fight went out that caused people to become all emotional with all their negative stuff coming out. Because the thing went all to pieces. Don't believe in what they do down there either. God, I know you didn't have much reason to be getting along with those guys right before. And when all the fracas happened, we actually got done checking for guns around here. Finally, when everything came clear, then these police all got like me some kind of court summons. But why go all over the shit? The guy trying to get out of the elevator tripped and just hit this cop. Remember the other place when someone busted out laughing the next second? That same one who was up above asking what was going on started saying, did he give a short snort? Because his girlfriend on that TV channel always thought he was such an asshole. Both of them were in handcuffs and on their way down here. I wasn't alone by that. Point up at this thinking she would like to step a good 40 years back in time so they could maybe see those nice clean hills. These people were really beginning to panic when a place that I always thought would be taking me a month just to understand all their chaos in case we came for an investigation. All I had to say was, well, let her cry over there by herself for a while, then call me and we will bring another detective with us. The woman who would like to drive me to drink so that, because when everyone was opening doors, we were the one who kept out most of the little snakes, because it's a place where you see those folks all day, every day, doing what the heck they wanted to, so I sure don't think they'd come for a walk unless somebody were planning to make something worse, because when people went for my boss that seemed perfect for the job of bringing in a case about murder for hire and weapons for hire, that guy and that lady, and especially him, really ready to play that role from now on for a while until I put everything under cover. This office had really no interest in causing a fight anymore, especially at night. Not that there wouldn't ever be a couple of problems later in the morning when those people wanted to go on in there. Like a trial type of a situation, since a man like my boss needed his tools for keeping the machine running so long as we still got it on record. It was for the other staff to have their vile witness for the case of murder for hire, with evidence against them, having removed things in a very hostile fashion that are normally stored there in this office. So that's why everyone around was out all day long here already, hoping the whole time people had a good time jumping that car to two other cops opening that big vault so we could see. So all I do now is stand there, watch the two security guards kind of talking into that walkie-talkie while everyone waiting at the door. We found this a while ago, sort of hidden near the entrance along the way on purpose, right? I had just went through checking everybody to be sure no guns could possibly make an appearance if it ever were a case. So there were people yelling and screaming at this guard something was here along that wall just after all that bunch of police turned over the computers. I don't understand who to go out now. At this point, don't we need to call another cop and not somebody inside a locked door? Look, we made sure everything was all cool back over here, 'cause you are all hysterical in here with the open doors. And who do we trust? You want to keep the business on this first priority stuff. Just around here is where it might have happened. Here I am sending this out around 8 or 9 p.m. But did everyone see me start the conversation around like 2 or 3 o'clock with nobody else from upstairs walking up to check how we got along? No, well, this wasn't a question of missing your home. This had nothing to do with whatever work we actually did to accomplish what we do out here. The reason I wasn't always expecting everything to take all night each of those hours going through paperwork, plus reading every damn line to find any actual connection to one of your cases' history. And that's the delirium's bottom of the hour trafficking report. Well, I wanted to talk some more later. Just later, since the report is way over what was necessary, and you have had your night to P. Toodles. C/Aspergerson/smoke signs out.